They are news recorder की news, a global educational news service for young people. G. How China's athletes gave Los Angeles a helping hand. Fewer than 4 decades ago, an emerging China joined its first Olympics Games. Like today, geopolitics loomed large at the Los Angeles event. The Beijing Winter Olympics had reaffirmed China as a titan of the sporting world as well as being an economic and geopolitical superpower, so it may be easy to forget that fewer than fewer than 40 years ago, this all-round juggernaut made its first meaningful appearance in the Olympics arena. That was the Summer Games in Los Angeles in 1984 when the world was a hugely different place. It was during the Cold War and the key strategic rivals then were the United States and the Soviet Union, which was still 7 years away from its collapse. The idea of Moscow being threat to one of the Soviet republics, Ukraine, was unthinkable. The two superpowers were engaged in tit-for-tat boycotts for each other Olympics. The United States and its allies had refused to participate in 1980's Summer Games in Moscow. In 1984, the Soviet and the most of the East Europe allies snubbed the Los Angeles Games, aiming to destroy them as a spectacle and ruin them financially. So, when the Chinese, who had until then refused to take part in Olympics because of the dispute over the statue of the breakaway, Iceland, Taiwan stepped forward to join the Games. They were welcomed. China's presence was not just a distraction from the boycott but an attraction in itself. China's visitors were mystified and appalled. China, which had been fully recognized by Americans only since 1979, had novelty value. Los Angeles was similarly eye-opening for the Chinese, who came from a country still only consciously opening itself up to the world. I recall the pre-games event at which the Chinese athletes were introduced to movie stars, including legends James Stewart. The visitor plainly had no idea they were in the company of some Hollywood finest. A similar jaw-dropper for the Chinese was the Hollywood Studios opening ceremony for the games in Los Angeles Coliseum Stadium. It included